Welcome to toy-polloi.
Hello and welcome to another video from toy-polloi, and today we're going to take a look at the Shonen Cyborg, which is the younger son of the Henshin Cyborg, a Japanese toy line released in 1971 and 72. Now for me, I do prefer the Shonen Cyborg because I'm used to this sort of size of figure, because this was the size of figure that was released here in the UK. In Japan it started out as a 12-inch line of toys. Let me bring in a Henshin Cyborg for you so you can see how large this is. This is a 12-inch Henshin Cyborg. Now these were based on the G.I. Joe figure, so they basically took the G.I. Joe mould, turned it into clear plastic and put some atomic sort of bits and bobs inside it. And he had a sidekick, which was the Shonen Cyborg, which is his son here. Now this is a sort of 8-inch tall figure. It has the same sort of features as a Henshin Cyborg in the fact that you can remove limbs and swap them out for robotic parts. And it is just an absolutely fantastic toy. If I bring it here, you can see it a little bit closer. Inside it has a little golden chest piece. Now there were various versions of the Shonen Cyborg. You could get one with a golden chest piece, you could get one with a silver chest piece that you can see here in the boxed version at the back, and then there was another one which had a blue sort of internal workings, which is one that I currently don't have. And as I say, you can remove the limbs to swap them out for other robotic parts, which you can see packaged here. We'll have a look at those in a bit, but you can see each of these limbs is easily removed. So there, I've removed his lower arm. You can also remove his hands like so, and the same with his legs, so that you can swap them out for other pieces, because the whole point of this toy was that you could change it about. There were even costumes and other things that you could add to it. And if I remove his head here, you can see underneath that he has a little robotic android head there. Now these, as I say, were released sort of in the early 70s, and they are just a particularly cool toy line, and they are what Micronauts and Microman sort of came from, because at some point they took this toy, decided that it was too big or wanted them smaller, and shrunk it down, and that's how we get the Micronauts Time Travelers, and they are just excellent toys. So let's take a look at the box. Now I do like these sort of 1970s style boxes because of just the bright colours and rainbow effects they use. It makes it a really sort of eye-catching piece, and it always looks good on display. At the top it says Shonen Cyborg or Henshin Cyborg, and at the bottom you can see the sort of Takara Makers logo, and that's a pretty classic logo. If we turn the box over, you can see there's extra information on the back and shows you some of the outfits and accessories that you could buy, and also a little action scene with them fighting the sort of one of the evil characters that were their enemies, and that's King Walder here, the sort of nice bright yellow guy. He's got sort of guts and bits inside him, as opposed to the atomic sort of engines and bits that you can see in the cyborgs here. But it's just a really nice box there, and it's one that does look very good on display. Now the cyborgs were brought over to the West and released by Dennis Fisher, but they did something sort of slightly strange with them. Rather than reproducing the 12-inch figures, they took the 8-inch boy version but released it with the adult head and the sort of adult internal working. So if we look at these two figures, essentially they are the same toys, but you can see the insides of them are slightly different, and the head, you can see this is the adult head, and then this is the childlike head. So there are just slight sort of modifications there. Also you'll notice that on the Shonen Cyborg here, all of the bits that hold the limbs together are made out of a grey plastic, and when we look at the Dennis Fisher versions, you can see here they're all made out of a sort of a whiter plastic. So it's very easy to spot the difference between the two types of figures, and that makes these a little bit harder to find here in the UK, just because they don't sort of tend to arrive in the country that often. In fact, all of these I've picked up on my travels to Japan. Whereas the cyborgs that are released here, again, are actually still pretty hard to find, just because not many people seem to remember them, and they do command quite a high price. As I mentioned earlier though, you could swap out the limbs, and that was the great feature of these toys. I have here a couple of others. These are actually the Dennis Fisher versions, because I've only got one Shonen Cyborg, but these have some limbs swapped out. So you can see this one here has some roller skates added to him and some extra weapons on his arms. And then that sort of strange UFO thing you see in the background, I have another one here with that on it, and this is a sort of little wheeled device, so you can wheel the toy around. It does look a little bit like a UFO, and again comes with some weird guns, but it's just a great feature that you can swap these limbs out. But again, because it's a great feature, it also means that some of these bits are very hard to find. You quite often find the figures with the legs or with the hands and arms missing, because at some point a child has swapped them out for the gun, and then the legs and arms and feet have all been lost. So finding complete ones is proving harder and harder as time goes by.
Toy-polloi.
So here we have one of the weapons packs. This is the one with the sort of UFO base and a couple of other weapons. If we turn it over, it will show you again much of the details that you saw on the figure there, but has some extra information about how these weapons work and how they sort of attach to the toy. And you can again see a few more little pieces of accessories that weren't on the main box there, some extra limbs, and you can see here one of the costumes that you get. Again, the costumes were great because they had sort of removable arms and feet, so you took the feet and arms off these figures and put on the ones that you get in these action packs and sort of clothing packs. So those are again particularly hard to find, but sort of certainly worth tracking down if you have the time and if you have the money, because they can be quite expensive. In 2000, Takara did reissue some of these figures. They reissued the Shonen Cyborg. The box was much the same actually, so it's quite hard to tell the difference, although it does have some markings on it. And they also released a smaller version of King Walder Jr. So this is the reissue from 2000, and he is in a nice yellow plastic, and this guy has the sort of brain head underneath. If I can remove that head, sometimes these heads are quite hard to remove. Actually, I think I might have to leave that one. They tend to sort of stick in place, but you can see there is a brain under there. And in his chest, rather than having the sort of robotic workings, you can see he's got some guts there. But the reissue figures are actually quite nice and quite sturdy, and I do like the sort of day glow yellow plastic that they put King Walder Jr. in. He just looks quite sort of scary like that, and does display really nicely next to an original Shonen Cyborg. As far as collecting these goes, they are a sort of long-term project for me because they are quite expensive, or generally seem to be quite expensive, and are getting more so just because I think more people are starting to sort of realise how cool they are and that they want to get them in their collections. You can still pick up ones with limbs missing relatively cheaply, but finding limbs to go with those is really hard work, and I have quite a few that are sort of in my to build box which have arms and feet missing, but at some point I hope to find other pieces for them. I also would like to get another sort of box version and finally get the blue version of the Shonen Cyborg, just because it'd be nice to have one of each colour. Now I need to say a massive thank you to Ishii from Toy Cats, which is a toy shop that I visit every time I go to Tokyo. I've done reviews of his shop, so do check those out, because I did a trade with him recently, and one of the items in that trade was this boxed Shonen Cyborg, so it's the first one I've added to my collection, so I'm really pleased to have that. And I hope my little mini review of the Shonen Cyborg has been of interest to you. If you enjoy my videos, then make sure to click the subscribe button and tap the bell to be notified every time I upload a new video, and thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching toy-polloi. Subscribe for more great videos. You can also follow toy-polloi on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.